All right, guys, we have the legendary Rick Glaser. Is right now live on the phone. Let's give him a round of applause. Slick Rick, what's going on, baby boy? What's happening?
What's happening? It's all about Terence Crawford, I guess.
Rick, you saw Punch Drunk. Did you have a fight with Crawford this past weekend?
No, but Errol Spence did it, and he got butchered.
Hey, Rick, man, check it out, man. Listen, we saw a massacre this past weekend. You've been saying for years, even when we both thought that the fight wasn't going to happen. To be fair, I told Crawford in his face that I didn't think that fight was going to happen. And he did show me the text messages him and Crawford Spence was having back and forth, and it did say that they were going to fight each other. They're going to make the fight happen. I saw the the correspondence when I was there, but I told him I don't believe it because I said Al Haymon never wanted this fight, and then next thing you know, we hear that Spence ended up getting a new management company and stuff like that. This fight happened. It's made.
Crawford got the new manager. Crawford got an advisor from CAA in Hollywood called Ish. His name is Ish.
Yeah, Ish.
He's also the advisor besides Crawford. He's also the advisor for Keyshawn Davis.
That's right. Ish. It was Ish. And hold on, didn't Spence get somebody else as well though?
I don't know that. If he does, it's unbeknownst to me.
Okay, all right, cool. But that's neither here nor there. So the fight happened. Rick, you said that this fight, you said if they ever fight each other, what Crawford was going to do to him. I picked the 10th round stoppage. Bob Arum has been saying it for years. My question is, what surprised you about this fight between Crawford and Spence this past weekend, if any?
What surprised me? Well, how one-sided it was. I thought Crawford win, and I thought he could stop him late, 9, 10 rounds, but I never believed it would be that one-sided. I mean, it was ugly. It was so one-sided. Literally ugly. Spence didn't even look like the same guy when the fight was over, and Terence was untouched. He didn't have a blemish on him.
The man did not have a scratch on his face.
Not a scratch. No, and what's his name looked like? Spence looked like he was through a meat grinder.
Yeah. The man, I'm looking at Crawford's face. I spoke to his brother after the fight. I spoke to them. Okay. They told me they went to they went to the after party afterwards. The man didn't have a scratch on his face. As a matter of fact, he looked better after the fight than he did before the fight.
Well, he had more gleam on him. You're right. I noticed that in the post-fight picture, the gleam on him. But listen, I just want to make an announcement. I was going to hold it for 48 hours after the fight, which would have been tonight, but I'm going to announce that on your show. Anybody, the LDBCers, the Haymonites, the Earl Sexuals, the Haymon Johnson jumpers, any of these people need any psychiatric professional help, let me know. If they don't have any health insurance to cover it, I will gladly cover it after this meeting. Any of the folks out there that are these LDBCers, these Haymonites, Earl Sexuals, and Haymon Johnson jumpers, they need any kind of mental help. I'll be glad to cover the cost of that mental. If they don't have health insurance, I'll be glad to do that.
Rick, let me. What, in your opinion, what did Derrick James go wrong from an instruction standpoint when he was giving instructions?
I don't think it's nothing that he said or didn't say. Nothing Earl was going to do was going to stop the onslaught. There was nothing he could do. They were defenseless. And the thing that pissed me off about Derrick James. Now, I have a very high opinion of Derrick. I think Derrick is an excellent trainer, and he's a great trainer. I'm not saying I would compare him to Emmanuel Stewart or Ray Arcel, those old timers, but he's an excellent trainer. And what really set me apart of the whole thing was that he never ever tried to stop the fight, especially after the 7th round, and he let his guy go out there after that. I mean, there was no reason for that. He had no power on his shots. They were his little shots that he'd land occasionally was bouncing off Earl like they didn't even exist. It was like a flag swatter trying to stop an 18-wheeler.
Yeah. Why do you think that he didn't throw the towel in? Before you answer that, I want to say something. Because I remember when Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury. And one of the biggest things, and Deontay Wilder was heavily influenced by the LDBC, was a part of their family, this and that, yada, 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 yada. And these boxers watch a lot of stuff that goes on social media. Me being the hottest boxing podcast on YouTube right now, I can attest to that. But, so everybody knows who I am at this point now, thanks to a lot of help from people like you and other people. But I say all that to say this. When Mark Breland threw the towel in, when he was getting destroyed, but when Wilder was getting destroyed by Tyson Fury, Mark Breland saved his fighter's life, and that allowed him to be able to have a third fight with Tyson Fury. And he got fired. Right. He got ridiculed. He was receiving death threats from the same slow learning disability boxing community online, and he got ridiculed. Wilder took Fury to court. They went to a third fight, and he got face planted in the third fight. So it seems that this group, they don't mind their fighters getting killed in the ring. They don't mind them getting killed in the ring. So what was the motivation that you think why Derrick James did not throw the towel in? Why did he let Errol Spence go back down?
I don't know what was going through his head. There's multiple things that could have been going through his head. One of them was, he didn't want to lose the title for the fighter in his mind. His ongoing battle with Brian McIntyre, Bomac, which is Crawford's trainer and handler. Yeah. I don't know, but all I know, it was unhealthy for the fighter's long-term health and short-term health, for that matter. He could have saved them a lot of despair and a lot more damage. I don't even think they can have a fight in December, to be honest with you. Like they're talking about a rematch physically. I don't think Spence would be ready. It's gonna take 4 months for the swelling to go down on his face and his brain. 4 months. Now, if anybody thinks I'm kidding, go consult a doctor and show him that picture and show him the fight and how many punches bounced off his head. It's going to take 4 months of rest and relaxation for that face and that brain, the swelling, to go down to completely normal again before he can even start to train.
Damn.
So I don't know how they're going to do that fight in December.
Rick, in your opinion, after this fight, has Errol Spence market value dropped?
I would say hugely. He didn't get beat. People were under the impression, he lost. No, he got tortured. He got the snot beat out of him. It was a one-sided shellacking. It wasn't like even that. Why have a rematch? What are we going to watch? Because Earl thinks that the 7 more pounds that they fight at 154 is going to matter. It won't matter what weight class they fight at. They're just in 2 different leagues, absolutely, completely in 2 different leagues.
It seems that Errol Spence, he tried to do the best he could. How come the so-called nobody fighters that Terence Crawford fought? Because we heard for years he's fought nobody. He got a terrible resume. The question I have for you is, how come the so-called nobody fighters did better against Terence Crawford than Errol Spence did?
Well, I can't answer that question, but Terence is filled out into a welterweight where he can barely make the weight himself now. And at that time, he was light in, like they say, light in the ass, which means he could really make 40 still. Now he can barely make 47. So I would say that has something to do with it right there. But I also think that Crawford is more comfortable in himself in the ring, and I think that's made a huge difference right there. I just think it's just so big a difference now that it's like 2 different leagues all together, if you know what I'm saying, where what he was then and what he is now. When I say was a couple of years ago when he's fighting a Porter, a little over 18 months ago, when he was fighting those kind of guys. I just think it's a different era in his game today, and that era is ERA, not error. It's ERA. It's a different era right now for Bud. He's the best fighter on the planet, and Bud Crawford, Terence Bud Crawford, and I don't see anybody stopping him. There's nobody at 47 or 54 is going to beat the guy. I don't want to hear about Jaron Ennis, Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis is just another body in the way. That's all he is. He would get destroyed right now. Now, 2 years from now, if Terence has a little slippage and he gets more experience, yeah, possibly that he could beat Terence, but not right now. Not in the present.
I got a couple of super
right
chats.
there. You go straight.
I want to get out of the way. So
I'll show you.
If you guys got a question for Rick Glaser, you have to send it in a $5 super chat or better. Anything less than $5, I'm not going to read the super chat. Okay, so we have Alex. You tell these people out there the inflation is struck. It's $5. I mean, none of this $2 shit anymore. That game's over. Coach Malachi is big time now. Hey, Rick, we got over 2,000 viewers right now. Over 2,000.
Listen, I just want to let you know, when Rick Glaser and Steve Kim both endorse you, that's an incredible thing. I want to let you know, because Steve and I have a difference of opinion on people, and we do like each other a lot, but we have a difference of opinion on people. We both endorse you. That's special.
Oh, yes, man. So Alex said just jumped on Derek James, got out coached. Okay. Light skin.
Nah, he didn't. Listen, Derek's an excellent coach. Bomac's an excellent coach. He didn't get out coached. He didn't have the fighter. He just didn't have the fighter. It was apparent.
No, I disagree. He did have the fighter. He has the eye collector. He has the big fish. He has the bigger guy, the stronger guy. They was comparing Spence to Hagler.
Well, listen, the one thing we've determined now, Earl's always saying man down. Well, we know what man down means. He was down 3 times.
Hey, shout out to, he said peace and love, dropping the $2 super chat. He said our boy beats the scales off the fish, man down. Shout out to Paul, dropping $0.25 super chat. Shout out to your boy Mambo, dropping $0.25. He said Derrick James probably stopped the fight because he's scared he was a good fight. I guess he's trying to say he probably didn't stop the fight. Okay. Shout out to Shad for dropping that $0.50. He said, Rick, I seen people bring up other fights where in the rematch the loser was able to avenge the loss, but I don't think this fight qualifies as one. What are your thoughts?
I'm not really sure what the question is. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to read, but it's just like a run-on sentence. He said, Rick, so basically he said, I seen people bring up other fights where in a rematch, the guy who lost the first fight was able to avenge that loss. Yeah,
not a one-sided beatdown. Not a one-sided beatdown like this. This was torture treatment, folks. This wasn't a regular win or loss like a Riddick Bowe and Holyfield fight or something like that. This was a one-sided, no contest brutalization.
Okay. Shout out to Derek Choice, dropping $0.50. He said, I'm happy fighters have been risking their zeros because it means Mayweather era is over. Errol needed the loss so that he can improve. Losses should not be career ending, depending on what type of beat it was. So.
I don't agree. I think that I think he was completely tortured, and I don't think that's what anybody stood. I don't think that's what anybody stood for.
This brother right here say passe, Coach Rick. He said after the fish fry Saturday, how would you rank Andre Ward, Canelo, Alexander Usyk, Chocolatito, and Bud with each other for all time? For like
it's hard to say. They're all great, and listen, you're talking about all-time great fighters there. I'm going to say this to you, and I know it's going to be a lot of people screaming today, but I can see Bud at the top, the best of Bud, the best of Crawford versus the best of Floyd. I believe, and so do other boxing guys like myself, real boxing professionals. They think that he would beat Floyd.
All right, shout out to Jaguar for dropping $0.25. I want to get to my question for Rick, guys, so he's not asking the question. He's talking about 988. 988 is the real number for anyone having mental issues, okay? Shout out to Off the Ropes Boxing. He say, salute to you, Coach, $0.50. He say, salute to Rick. He said, did Terence give a blueprint on how to handle Errol in your opinion? And who does Errol box next?
Who does Earl box next? If he doesn't box, he's going to box Spence if he calls for the rematch because it's contractual that it happens. But he can't be. I hope Earl's not this dumb. I just hope Earl's not this dumb. Earl's. It doesn't matter about the 7 pounds. He's gonna get he's gonna get beat up earlier because Crawford's got so much confidence and he doesn't. He'll just walk across the ring and destroy him now. It'll be like a Tommy Hearns, Earl, knocking somebody out real quick.
Mike says, Rick, would you want to see Canelo versus Crawford at a catch weight for pound king?
No. It's too big of a difference. I'd like to see Jermell Charlo, the 160, fight Crawford for the 160-pound middleweight title, because the Jermell, the one that's fighting Canelo, the 54, is never going to see 54 again.
Yeah.
So I think in the meantime, is Crawford should go up, win a belt at 54, and then go fight Jermell, challenge Jermell, or move up to middleweight and just fight, period. He can just blaze through. He's a big guy. He's much bigger than people think he is. I had said what he loses in strength compared to a Earl is what would be his balance would make up the difference. And it did. That's what happened. He pushed him around on the inside like a rag doll.
Yeah, he puts him around, and then Spence supposed to be the bigger, stronger guy, but the bigger, stronger guy, quote unquote, was getting pushed around like he was 105 pounds. This guy right here says, "Hey Rick, when was the last one-sided beatdown that was a high profile that you remember seeing?"
Well, you had Floyd and Gaddy, and that was back in 2004. You had Duran versus Davey Moore. Those are two champs that got destroyed. Gaddy was the champ. Floyd destroyed him. You had Michael Spinks get knocked out in one round by Tyson.
I give you another one. Roy Jones versus Vinny Paziano.
Yeah, I would say that would be it too.
He killed him. Yeah, you got to see that one there, Rick. If you remember that.
I remember. He did kill him. You're right.
Shout out to Uncle Burnt apostrophe. He said big up Rick, coach. He said, could you see Bud? I guess you're trying to say, do you realistically can see Bud challenging Canelo? My answer is no. Canelo's too big for Crawford. Too big.
Yeah, he's way too big. I mean, you're talking about 21 pounds. I mean, come on.
I just want to enjoy Bud right now, maybe at 154. But Canelo, ain't no welterweight gonna beat no Canelo. Shout out to Sean Bell for becoming a member. Shout out to Lake Ever. He say, would your guests like to see Crawford and Thurman mix it up? Would you like to see Crawford?
Well, I see Crawford and Thurman. It's a beatdown. It's an easy fight. Thurman won't be able to hang with Crawford.
Yeah. Shout out to SR518. He said, Coach, I would like to thank you for going after all these guys' YouTube channels. Keep your foot on their necks. All right, now let me get to my questions. Now, the telltale sign for me in this fight, Rick. Terence Crawford landing a little over 60% of his power punches, 50% of his total punches, and he landed 42% of his jabs. That's a very, very high rate. Where is the defense or the lack? What happened to the lack of defense of Errol Spence?
Well, he fought a superior fighter. There was definitely slippage there. As I had said there was. I had said all the reasons there was slippage. And it was a combination of greatness versus slippage, and you had a completely total gross mismatch. I mean, if you look at the fight from a standpoint of it only lasted 9 rounds, but he was down 3 times. He's about to get knocked cold when Harvey Doc saved him from further abuse. You looked at his face, how butchered it was. You looked at him at the post-fight press conference. You could hear him talking, slurring his words. That game is over. He's damaged goods. He's not coming back from that, folks. If he comes back in the ring physically, that's one thing. But he's not going to be the Errol Spence that we knew for the last 10 years. That ain't happening.
The telltale sign to me of when I saw Terence Crawford, it seemed like he was really, really having fun in the ring. He was beating Errol Spence's ass in the ring, and then when he knocked him down, he went to his corner and he was talking shit to Jermell Charlo. So he's whooping.
Yeah, he was turning around. You're next. I saw that. That was rare form. There's no question about it.
And the crazy part about it is, I've always heard that the reason why Jermell Charlo spoke so highly of Spence and said he was his brother, and he seemed like he was just really on his Johnson real hard, was because they say Spence used to beat Jermell Charlo up in sparring.
Right, that's true.
So Errol Spence,
That's true. I've heard that from many people.
Errol Spence beat Jermell Charlo up in sparring, and Terence Crawford not doing the triangle theory, but he's run through Errol Spence, the big fish. I call him the big catfish, and now we have a deep fried mullet for the fish fry. I mean, he ran through him like Nimrod, like it was easy. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to me. Is this why, in your opinion, that Al Heyman, for all of these years, kept Errol Spence away from Terence Crawford?
Well, he did, but here's how the scam broke down. when Al Heyman lost Fox, he was trapped with just Showtime, so he couldn't leverage anything against one another anymore. And then Stephen Espinoza got a boss now at the Paramount Global, which is the parent company of Showtime Sports. And he said, no more pay-per-views, none of this bullshit, none of these low numbers to pay out too much money. We're going to have the biggest fights or no fights at all. You make these fights or else. Yeah. And there'll be no boxing, period. So Espinoza and Heyman got trapped by the big boss. And now that game is over. That's why they made Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. That's why they made this fight. That's why they made Charlo and Canelo. That's why they're making these big fights now. We didn't see these big fights. We saw phony pay-per-views for years from these people between Fox, PBC and Heyman, between Fox and Showtime, and now things have changed. There's a new sheriff in town, and he's Espinoza's new boss, which is Heyman's new boss, and they're ruling. Yeah, and Heyman had that hedge fund money in $900 million, and now that's gone, so he's trapped.
What say you about Errol Spence? A lot of people have been questioning Errol Spence's resume now. I noticed a lot of these guys who say it was pro Spence fans.
What I said all along, people would say, well, when he fought Danny Garcia and when he fought Ugas, there was no slippage. Well, because they're great fighters. Ugas was great for one night. He beat an old Pacquiao. Okay, and in the meantime, what did he ever do in his career? Yeah, and in the meantime, and Danny Garcia has never won a significant fight at 147. Oh. This is a different league. This is an all-time. When you're looking at Terence Crawford, I said this for years, you're looking at all-time greatness. You're looking at a generational talent. You're looking at guys that Doug Krikorian said, the great writer, said since Saturday night's fight, he said, this is a guy, I lived through the Four Kings era. He said, this guy could have competed with the Four Kings, which was back then Duran, which was Hearns, Leonard, and of course Hagler, but Hagler was much bigger. Hagler was a middleweight. But what he's saying is, ability-wise, he could have. He's a left-handed power puncher who can knock you out with both hands, got a jab like a ramrod, he's very good defensively, he's got a great chin, he doesn't even get wobbled. He's strong. What he doesn't have in strength, he makes up in balance and pushes you off beautifully. I mean, he was pushing off Earl like a rag doll the other night, just like, flailing around. I mean, you couldn't tell if Earl was getting hit in the chin or getting pushed. Because it was the same effect.
I got an interview I did when I was in Omaha, when they had the Omaha Day for the send-off for Terence Crawford. Fight Hype was there. ESPN was there. Showtime was there. I got a chance to ask Bud a couple of questions, and he told me how he would deal with Spence's size. He told me what he would do pretty much at his mom's house. Shout out to Miss Deborah. Bomac, I interviewed with him. Bomac will be on the show Thursday. Coach Red, shout out to you guys. Saul. Bernie the Boxer, they said that we're going to make this look real easy. They said that this guy is a flat-footed fighter, come forward, his style is tailor-made for Crawford. They say he's going to be open to counters all day, and he has problems with lateral movement. Bomac said that he said, look, they've been hiding him and protecting him. He's been in a bunch of these setup fights that was tailor-made for him. He said he messed up when he signed when he signed that contract. That's what he messed up at. We're going to show everybody on July 29th who Terence Crawford is. This is what Bomac told me. Red told me this, Saul told me this, and Bernard the Boxer just went off the charts on it, and his mother told me this.
Listen,
and hold on, one more thing. One more thing. And July 29th was his mother's birthday. You know what she told me? She said, the only thing I want Bud to do, only thing I want for my birthday is for Bud to bring them belts back home. That's what she said.
Yeah. I like Bomac a lot. He's a great guy. He's a real cool guy. I think he's I think he's a special kind of guy, and he called it right. He said all along, and I felt the same way. I mean, other real good boxing guys, and 90% of the boxing guys thought that Spence was going to win. Get a too big, too strong, too this, too that. I said, no, this is special. This guy's unique. You know, another thing is Crawford has a killer instinct once he gets in the ring, but he had trouble getting up for some of the people that he fought because he knew he was going to win, and he's so good, and he had no trouble getting up for this fight. You could see that. I mean, he was the bull constrictor.
What did you think about how calm he was? Terence Crawford was very, very calm.
Oh yeah, he's got James, Tony, Marvin Hagler calmness in there. I agree.
He was in the in the locker room. He was calm. At the press conferences, he was calm.
No, he's you know what? That's part of. He's a classy guy. Yeah. He's got a class about him that's very unique. He speaks well. He says what he means. He means what he says, and it's all. He's got his shit together. It's the best way to put it. He's got his shit together.
A lot of people are saying online as well. They're saying that it seemed like that Terence Crawford was carried Errol Spence to the 9th round, meaning he had him hurt multiple times, several times. He could have got him out of there, but it's like he took it easy on him.
You know what? I'd have to sit down. I don't know Earl that well. I've only met him once. I know Bomac much better. I mean, I've been in Terence's companies multiple times, but I don't know him. I've talked to him one time. Me, him, and Buddy McGirt back in 2019 in Fresno at a press conference. Not associated with him. He was just there because Bomac was there. I'd have to talk to him and see what went through his mind. But he's a great finisher. Maybe he didn't think he was gone enough yet. Maybe he was punishing him, trying to give the fans a bang for their buck. I don't know what went through his head, but he was in total control where it looked like he could have ended it at any time that he wanted to.
You know what? It's amazing you said something about maybe he tried to punish him, because when I spoke to Bud, he said I'm gonna punish this dude. He said I'm gonna punish this dude.
Okay. Well, you didn't say that, but I just said it. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I just he said I'm gonna punish. He said I'm gonna punish this dude. He said I'm gonna show everybody who doubted me. I went to Omaha, Nebraska. I've been there 3 times. North Omaha.
I heard there's a rumor they're naming his street after you.
After me? No.
Yeah.
No. Listen.
Coach Malachi Way.
Listen. Crawford. When I went to Omaha, Nebraska, I had to be around him to like really feel his energy. Pause. He give off some kind of aura to where he's a quiet guy. He's an introvert. You know, he's not really good. He's not really good with the media. Everybody know that.
I'm gonna run a thought past you and everybody listening today. Earl's more comfortable in a boxing ring standing across from a great fighter like Errol Spence. He's more comfortable doing that than he is playing with his own kids in his own home.
Yeah. Just
one of those rare type guys.
Yeah, he competes at everything, man. Wrestling and all that stuff, man.
He was born to fight. And he developed himself mentally and physically properly. He's got the right aptitude, the right attitude, and a great mindset. And he's with an excellent trainer in Bomac.
Yeah, I mean, Rick. That was like a murder. What we saw, man. That was like a damn homicide.
It was definitely an attempted murder. There's no question about it. Yeah. You know, and then Derek James wasn't smart enough to jump in. His pride was hurting him so much. He wasn't smart enough to jump in, which is a shame, because the trainer in a fight, the trainer in an actual fight, the first thing is to do is to protect your fighter. And he failed to protect his fighter, and it took the referee to do it, and that was a shame.
Yeah, probably his pride and ego got in the way, because he said a lot of derogatory things about Crawford's career. Shout out to Sean Bell dropping that quarter of a dub. He said Bud has always been a superior fighter. Y'all see why Spence been running for 5 years. Yeah, I say the same thing. Shout out to Derek Choice. He said they better keep Monster Neway away from Tank Davis PBC.
I heard from a reliable source that what's his name ran out of over 30 pairs of sneakers running from Bud over the last 5 years.
Well, running and ducking. Also, he been ducking, huh? Shout out to Props for dropping that half a dub. He said Bud timing was impeccable. When Bud caught Spence with that uppercut, it was so quick. He said that I didn't see the shot until the replay showed. His counters were crazy. Footwork superior. Yeah, absolutely. Sean Bell gave a $2 super chat.
One thing I want to say that nobody's mentioned yet, okay, is that, and nobody's mentioned any of the talk shows I've been on since. I haven't seen it on. We won't have to worry about anybody talking about Terence Crawford, quote, even being a Hall of Famer, like these morons are saying, and also that he had a weak resume. It turns out maybe that Earl had a weak resume.
Yeah, I mean, because now I'm questioning everything. Because my thing is, this is me. This is what my observation. PBC like to keep everything in-house. We know this. Errol Spence has been in tailor-made fights for him, bunch of setup fights that was tailor-made for his style. They intentionally kept him away from fighters like Crawford and stuff like that. They came up with all types of excuses: 70-30, 80-20, 60-40. Take whatever we give you. Wrong side of the street, wrong promotional company. Your baby mama ain't bow-legged. Your cousin got to know how to do the butterfly. They came up with all these different excuses. What happened was the PBC had paid operatives on social media like the LDBC, like the Doodoo Browns, the Fagnons, the SheGos, Chumpsides. They had a bunch of these guys.
Fagnon, Boxing Ego. The list goes. It's an endless list.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, so they was putting out a lot of propaganda, I like to call hit pieces, dismersification campaigns against Terence Crawford. Until Saturday, the rubber has hit the road. Now that the rubber has hit the road, now everyone know that it was never Crawford holding up the fight. It was it was Errol Spence and the PBC, Derek James.
Of course.
They never wanted this fight because from a stylistic standpoint, they knew that this was a nightmare for Errol Spence. What say you about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just common sense. I don't think you need an opinion from me on that. I think it's just common sense. You can see it. You can see the big difference between the two fighters. I said that Spence was never the same since 2019, and I gave all the reasons why: car accident, eye injury, blows up in weight, only gets in between fights, only gets in the gym when he has a signed contract, fought twice in 4 years, and all these reasons, and it all came to fruition on Saturday night. Everybody's going by what he looked great against Danny Garcia, looked great against Ugas. Those are second-rate fighters. This isn't Terence Crawford, a generational talent, and it all showed up Saturday night. I'll tell you what, if anything happened Saturday night besides Crawford showing superiority, it was Crawford making me look like a genius.
Hey, I made $3,000 that night, man. So, he damn so made me look like a genius. After the information I got, I was like, yeah, man, I'm putting it all on Crawford.
Right.
Now I'm hearing a lot of conspiracies going on right now. I'm hearing things now that, Errol Spence's water bottle was spiked. He didn't look the same. Maybe somebody put something, Terence Crawford, they say, I'm seeing now, they're saying Terence Crawford fought with loaded gloves.
Come on.
Weight trained. Oh, he stayed out in the ring too long. I'm even hearing now. I'm looking at a video right now. I'm not even going to get this guy no shine. But he says that Terence Crawford has a paper champion legacy, and he said that the powers that be in the sport of boxing, they intentionally set it up for Crawford to become two-time undisputed champion because they did not want to see Errol Spence become one-time undisputed champion. What say you about that? That's an LDBC channel as well.
All bullshit. Please. It's not even worth mentioning. It's ridiculous. It's retardation from the LDBCers, the Haymanites, the Earl Sexuals, the Heyman Johnson jumpers, the PBC lovers, all those kind of people. And, it's not reality. The guy got the shit beat out of him. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Live up to reality. Reality is, Terence Crawford on this day, July 31st, as a result of July 29th, 2023, is the superior fighter over Errol Spence and every fighter on the planet. They can go fuck themselves.
Hey, so wait a minute, hold on. So cliches like Cap, call Al, big fish. I'm Moby Dick, which a Moby Dick is a whale. That's a mammal. It's not a fish. You know, I'm Dad Texas. You know what I mean? You know,
listen.
Man
my
down.
line about man. We now know what man down officially means. That Spence was down 3 times and was about to be down for a 4th time when the referee saved him from the 4th knockdown. Maybe saved his life. We don't know that. We don't know how much swelling that Spence had on his brain. I know one thing: Crawford didn't have even a mark on his face, let alone swelling on his brain.
Man, listen. I've seen sparring matches that Crawford had probably sparring matches that Crawford had better than that. That wasn't even a.
You want another one?
Yeah, what's another one? Are you talking about?
Well, yeah. What was that now? I'm sorry.
No, I seen sparring matches, you know, more competitive than Saturday's fight.
Yeah.
Errol Spence,
yeah. Well, listen.
Spence was on the pound list. He was a pound. He's a pound fighter. So they say. They put him on the list. So.
I'm gonna leave it like this because I've got to get going now. I'm sort of in between. I'm sort of traveling right now.
Okay.
But
Cool.
I'm gonna leave it like this with you. Okay. I'm gonna come back on as soon as tomorrow afternoon if you'd like to have me on and answer any more questions they have. But tomorrow we got to have those $10 super chats.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go.